Okay, folks.
Very austere, prestigious avenues to work on this film through Twitter. Raymond Santana tweeted me right around Selma.
Yeah.
Selma was nominated for Best Picture or something on that day. He hit me and said, what's your next project? CP5, question mark, hashtag, fingers crossed, hashtag. I was like, wow, this is one of those guys. And I remember the story, and I'd recently seen the documentary and was fascinated by it. And so DM'd him, slid into the DMs, and said, hey, next time in New York, I'd love to grab a coffee. Just because fascinated, it was one of the five. And when I sat down with him, I was just kind of out of curiosity, wanting to meet him, and he had a whole pitch and a whole idea about, you know, what he thought this could be. Didn't know about a limited series, but just talked about getting the story out on film and TV. And from there, I started to meet the other guys, and from there, I reached out to participant, reached out to Barry and Tribeca, reached out to Miss Winfrey, and started to put the pieces of it together.
When you met the other guys, what was their reception to having the project go on film?
Well, let's talk about, everyone was super into it except Korey. And he wasn't like he was super into it. He just needed to really understand what it would be, and he really needed to trust me. And he really wanted to get across, and the reason why 4 is constructed in the way that it is with Jharrel's brilliant performance, the reason why his time in prison is separate from everything else is because on that first day that I spoke to him, he said, I am not a part of the Central Park 5. It's 4 + 1. I had a different experience than they did. And no one can see that, no one recognizes that, and no one's even aware of that. So I'm really not into it, because he kind of thought it was going to be like the same rah-rah Central Park 5 that we've been hearing about. And so I was really moved by that, fascinated by it, and committed to, in that moment, figuring out a way to make his story separate from everyone else. So as we got in and we kicked the tires on the form, it became really clear that Korey was going to need his own episode. And in order to do that, you have to find the right actor. How many SAG in the house? Right. You need to find the right actor who can embody this person from beginning to end. And the span of the story is, you know, it's nearly 2 decades. And so, you know, how to go about that became a big challenge. And early on, I said, too much of a challenge, can't do it. Need 2 actors per guy. So I'm going to have young ones and I'm going to have older ones. Until someone like Jharrel Jerome walks into the room and that blows it all up. And then you're like, well, I'm just going to have him. And that's what happened.
Well,
she liked it,
but I didn't like.
She didn't like the hair because I was going for young Korey. That was my plan the whole time, was for because I heard that it would be a young actor and an older actor. So I didn't want to shoot for the older actor. I wanted to go for the young one. So I did the young sides, and pretty much my team was like, they like it, but you have to shave
well,
your
face.
face.
You can't audition for a 14-year-old with a full grown man's beard. So I'm watching it like, he's really good, but that beard is freaking me out. And I said, I said to Aisha Coley, as directors do, and it's not right, have him shave the beard and do it again.
Damn.
and
because of the contract, I could not. And this is March, and I was doing the show till June. So this is months of having damn facial hair. Who would have thought having facial hair would be such a problem? But it was such a problem.
And I said, if by the time he's able to shave the beard, I haven't cast the part, have him tape and send it
again. But this was me freaking out for months. Like, no, she's gonna cast the part. She's gonna cast the part. And I kept checking in. My team kept checking in. And by June, I wrapped the show. She hadn't cast the part. I got on a plane. I wrapped on a Friday. I saw her Monday morning. And that weekend, I completely shaved, like, and I went in and I spoke, and I did the audition, and I did the young part, and I felt good about it. I felt great about it. And then she goes, can you read these older sides, the older Korey sides? I just shaved the beard to look younger for you. And so I panicked in the moment, but I was like, all right, this is a challenge that I'm willing to take. And so I went downstairs.
I didn't say go home and let's schedule another audition. I said, take these sides, go downstairs, and you're going to come back and do the older one. Because in that moment I thought, wow, I've seen him with the beard. and he can look older. And now he's looking young in front of me. Maybe he can play both. Like, maybe he can do it.
And so she gives me a full monologue, and it's actually a monologue that didn't
What was
make it
it?
into the.
Okay.
It was the fire escape. That whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it had to do with Korey losing his brother and that whole thing. So pretty much I went downstairs and I had like 20 minutes to get this done. And I didn't learn the monologue, but I tried my best to. My goal was just to put weight onto my body and onto my voice. I didn't know how to even sound like Korey at the time. I didn't know what it meant to be him at all. I just knew that I had to be 10 years older. That was the plan. Somehow. So I went back upstairs and I did it. And
he was fantastic. And I thought, wow, I found an actor who can do both. And it opened the whole idea of how to approach it. It changed the way that we wrote it. It changed everything.
She didn't tell me any of this at the time.
No.
No. She just looked at me and said, great. We'll keep in touch.
All because of finding the right actor. So it worked out. That had been a moniker that was put on these boys, put on these men that they were really chained by. They were tethered to this, and it was a negative for them. You talk about Korey, you know, he lived around New York City and still lives in Harlem as a social pariah for all of his life since this happened. After he got out of prison, people would look at him with disdain. When he walked in a room, people would walk out of the room. People would whisper about him. Now that brother walks down the street, it's a hero's welcome. I mean, if you go to his, if you put in Korey Wise hashtag on Instagram, all you'll do is smile. People taking pictures, selfies, t-shirts, hats. Cops taking pictures with him. He loves taking pictures with cops. Yeah. I told him, I'm like, yo, Korey, why so much NYPD?
Six posts back to back.
He's like, they love me. You know what I mean? And so it's really completely changed the way we saw him, right? And that was the goal for this. See them differently. And when you really see them, and not the lies, and not the bias, and not the politics, when you see them, when you know they had a mother who took the bus to get them, a mother who couldn't get there, you know, brothers and sisters, families, you know the moment when the verdicts came, how it shattered those families, how they never, you know, Antron McCrae's family never came back together again. When you see them as human beings just like us, when you see that, then you cannot think and behave the same way. And so that was the goal for the piece. It was an untraditional title. Netflix was very supportive of trying something different with it, and but it encapsulates what we all tried to do.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.